What's up, everyone? It's Bones here. In today's video, we'll be saving cats from trees and watering your plants while we fight fire with fire. With the release of Duelist Nexus happening on the day of this upload, this will be yet another deck vying for a top spot in our metagame. But before I begin, if you're a fan of in-depth combo videos and learning about different decks along with new sets, then join the Rescue Ace in hosing those thumbs up and subscribe buttons that desperately need your help as they are under fire. We're going to start here with an Airlifter, and because of the first of two new cards that we'll be featuring here, we can use the Airlifter as a one-card combo, and we're going to add ourselves the Emergency, which is a quick play spell that reads, this card is always treated as a Rescue Ace card. Special summon one Rescue Ace monster from your deck in defense position, then tribute one Rescue Ace monster from your hand or field. So it is important to note that you do need that tribute in order to make this card go off. And during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Rescue Ace trap in your graveyard, set it. You can only use each effect of Emergency once per turn, and this is also a nice effect just because you're able to get your traps back, which you only play a low amount of in Rescue Ace that you can search out with the Turbulence. So we're going to activate the Emergency, bringing out our Hydrant, which is kind of like the main character of the deck, and we're then going to tribute off the Airlifter for the Emergency, use the Hydrant, which will net us the search for the Turbulence, and the cool thing here is that because the Emergency is always a Rescue Ace card, we can now banish the Airlifter and the Emergency for the Turbulence, as we'll use the Turbulence in order to get ourselves the set 4, getting ourselves the Rescue, the Alert, the Contain, and the Extinguish, as we'll then activate the Alert, and this will grab us our second new card, the Preventer, and this one reads, you can banish one Rescue Ace card from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. If you control another Rescue Ace monster quick effect, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, change it to face down defense position. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Rescue Ace monsters, except a level 8 monster, special summon it. You can only use each effect of Rescue Ace Preventer once per turn. And this is a really nice card because, as you see, the Alert is a Rescue Ace card as well. At least it's always treated as one. And you can banish it for the Preventer that you search off of it, giving you an extender, but then you're also able to get another extender as you use its secondary effect in the graveyard to get back the Airlifter, which just allows for some cool interactions that you're about to see now, as we're going to climb into our Link Karibo, then use the effect of the Sunlight Wolf, and most importantly here, you want to get back your Hydrant, because the Airlifter has an effect that says, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can tribute this card from your hand or face up field, special summon one Rescue Ace monster from your hand, except Airlifter. You can only use each effect of Airlifter once per turn. And being able to special summon out your Hydrant off of it during your opponent's turn, making the secondary effects of your Rescue Ace stuff live, is really important in my opinion, as we'll then be able to go into our Decode Talker, or we'll go into the Heat Soul, and then we'll use the Heat Soul to net ourselves the draw, as we'll pass on to the next turn. For this second combo, we have Emergency plus any Rescue Ace monster. You don't have to play the Fire Attacker if you don't want to. I'm just showing it because it's any Rescue Ace monster. And from here, we're going to start by activating the Emergency. We can bring out our Hydrant this way so that we can tribute off the Fire Attacker and get ourselves the search off of the Hydrant for the Turbulence. With the two Rescue Ace card, quote unquote, in the graveyard, we'll be able to banish them so that we can special summon out our Turbulence, then use the effect of Turbulence, getting our set 4, and now we'll be able to use the effect of the Alert, much like last time, to get our Preventer, and then we can special summon out the Preventer with the Alert in graveyard, as we'll then go into our Sunlight Wolf, use the Preventer to bring back the Fire Attacker, and now we can go into our Link Karibo, as we'll use the effect of the Sunlight Wolf to get back our Preventer. Now, in this case, you actually can get back the Preventer, because since we don't have the Airlifter or any way to special summon out the Hydrant from hand, you can just banish the Hydrant off of the Preventer, and then when you link away or do whatever with the Preventer, you can special summon back the Hydrant from the banished pile. So we'll then be able to go into our Decode, we'll get the draw 1, and then we can pass on to our opponent's turn. Now, for this third combo, I would like to point out I am not going to play this optimally. I just want to show a line of play that is important to note, because there will be times where you can actually follow this line, especially considering some of the other effects that your cards have, but you'll see what I mean by that momentarily, as we're going to normal summon the Hydrant, get ourselves the Preventer, then we can activate the Alert since we control the Hydrant, get ourselves the Turbulence, we'll then go into the Link Karibo, activate the Preventer Preventer to special summon it out. Then we can go into our Proxy F Magician, and this kind of follows the line that I'm talking about, but we're going to use the Preventer to get back our Hydrant, and now we can activate our Turbulence in hand, special summoning it out by banishing our 2 Rescue Ace cards in the graveyard, as we'll then be able to set 4 off of the Turbulence, and then we can activate our Emergency as we haven't used it yet, and we'll be able to special summon out the Airlifter, tributing off the Turbulence, use the Airlifter in order to net us a search for the Rescue, and this is where everything kind of comes up, considering that when you add the Rescue, you have the opportunity to reborn stuff from your opponent's graveyard as long as you control the Hydrant. So you'll see that I'm actually going to use the Proxy F Magician, and normally you would go into the Sunlight Wolf, but if you are special summoning out something from your opponent's graveyard because you control a Hydrant regardless, and you take this line, I just want to show how you can change whatever you steal from your opponent into fire to make use of your plays in that way. But we're now going to go into our Sunlight Wolf, use the Link Karibo tributing off the Hydrant, and now we can use the Sunlight Wolf in order to get back the Hydrant, go into our Heat Soul, and we'll be able to end on that. Now do keep in mind, normally you'd have an extra monster plus either the Heat Soul, or you could even go into Appaloosa, but this was for the Proxy F Magician and the Mud Dragon. For this next combo, we have the Air Hoister along with the Fire Attacker or the Fire Engine, it doesn't matter which one, as we'll normal summon the Air Hoister, get itself the search for the Emergency as we're going to special summon out the Fire Attacker. Then we can activate our Emergency, we'll be able to special summon out the Hydrant as we tribute off the Airlifter, and then we're going to use the effect of the Hydrant to get ourselves the Turbulence. With 2 Rescue Ace cards in graveyard, we can just banish them so that we can special summon out the Turbulence, use its effect in order to set 4, as now we can activate the Alert so that we can get ourselves the Preventer, much like previously, and there is going to be different options in this combo as well, where you can stick to the more standard route, where you're just going to get back the Hydrant to hand and have the Airlifter in order to special summon it, but I do want to show a second option that we have with this particular hand. From then on, I'll be playing the rest of the hands optimally, but we'll use the effect of the Preventer to get back the Hoister, go into our Link Karibo, use the effect of our Sunlight Wolf to get back our Preventer, and now we're going to go into our Appaloosa, and this is the second option that I wanted to talk about, where instead of ending with the Airlifter along with the Hydrant in hand off of the Sunlight Wolf, you can just use the 3 monsters to go into the Appaloosa, have the Fire Attacker. Now for the next combo, we have Hydrant plus the Emergency, and we're going to start this one by activating the Hydrant, netting ourselves the search for the Fire Engine, and the Fire Engine is kind of more important, or at least it's better now, because since we have the Preventer and we can special summon it out after banishing it, we have the ability to special summon from hand with its effect. If a monster is special summoned to our opponent's field off of its effect, then we can get the special summon from our hand, similarly to Airlifter, where it's just a different way to bring out our Hydrant when we get it back from the Sunlight Wolf. So that is important to note because matchups are all kind of different, and some effects may go off more easier in some matchups than others, but we're going to be able to set 4 off the Turbulence, go into our Sunlight Wolf, go into our Link Karibo, use the Sunlight Wolf, get back the Hydrant. Now we can go into our Heat Soul, we'll be able to use the Heat Soul for the draw 1, then we can end our turn on that. Now onto the 3-card combos, we have the Hydrant along with the Airlifter, and the Field Spell is another option that you can play, you don't have to play it. I just want to go through all the options that we kind of do have in this deck, as we're going to start here by normal summoning the Hydrant, using its effect in order to net ourselves the search for the Fire Engine, use the Field Spell to get that extra normal summon for the Airlifter, as we'll be able to special summon out the Fire Engine, and now we can get ourselves the search for the Emergency, activate the Emergency in order to special summon out the Turbulence, and then we can use the effect of the Turbulence while we'll be able to get 4 cards in our spell and trap zones. We also didn't have to banish anything for the Turbulence, and we'll then be able to activate the Alert, and now we're going to add ourselves a Preventer. The Preventer can then banish the Airlifter, as we're going to special summon it, go into our Sunlight Wolf, then use the effect of the Preventer to bring back the Lifter, and now we can go into our Link Karibo, we'll then be able to use the Sunlight Wolf, get back our Hydrant, go into our Appaloosa, and now we have the Airlifter to special summon out our Hydrant. So so that we can make the secondary effects of our stuff live while having the 3-material Appaloosa to round out our end board. For this second combo, or for the second 3-card combo, I want to show what happens with Hydrant and your 2 special summons, and we're going to start by normal summoning the Hydrant, using the effect of the Fire Attacker to special summon itself, special summon out the Fire Engine off of the Fire Attacker special summon, then use the Hydrant in order to net ourselves the search for the Turbulence, go into our Sunlight Wolf, bring out the Turbulence, banishing our 2 monsters. We'll then be able to set 4 off of the Turbulence, as we're then going to activate the Emergency, and then we can bring out the Airlifter, as we'll be able to use the effect of the Airlifter as we tribute off the Turbulence, get ourselves the Alert. And it's important to note that when doing this line, you can actually set another copy of Alert instead of the Rescue, so that you can just add another Rescue to hand, and this is just 2 searches. So from here, we're then going to be able to add ourselves a copy of the Preventer, as we're then going to special summon out the Preventer, as we're going to be able to link into the Link Karibo, use the Sunlight Wolf to get back the Hydrant, as we'll then go into our Appaloosa, use the effect of the Preventer, which will get back the Fire Engine, and now we have 2 separate ways to special summon out our Hydrant and make the secondary effects of our spell and traps live. Now, similarly to our last combo, we have the Airlifter along with our 2 special summons, and we're going to start here with the normal summon of the Airlifter, which will get us the Emergency along with the special summon of the Fire Attacker. Out of the Emergency, we can then special summon out the Fire Engine off of the special summon of the Attacker, as we can then activate the Emergency, get ourselves the copy of Hydrant, as we'll then be able to tribute off the Engine, and then get ourselves the search for the Turbulence, as we'll then use the Turbulence in order to special summon itself out, use its effect in order to search for or set for, and then we're going to go into our Sunlight Wolf or activate our Alert, and then we'll use the Alert in order to get our Preventer so that we can go into our Sunlight Wolf, go into our Link Karibo, get the addition of a card to our hand as we get the Hydrant, then use the Preventer to special summon itself, as we're then going to link away into the Appo with the Preventer so that we can use the Preventer to bring back our Fire Engine. And now with the Fire Engine and the Fire Attacker, we have a way to get more draws along with the ability to get the extra special summon for the Hydrant, make our spells and traps have their second effects live, but just also potentially get into more cards with the Fire Attacker. Now for this final combo, and this will just be a test hand, and you see I am on the Dogoran. My build does play Small World and other stuff like that, so you'll see some other options that you can play on the deck profile, but we're going to start here by normal summoning the Airlifter, getting ourselves the search for the Emergency, then we can activate the Emergency, as we'll get ourselves the Hydrant, use the effect of the Hydrant to net ourselves the search for the Preventer, as we're going to use the effect of the Turbulence, special summoning it out, use the Preventer in order to get ourselves the 4 sets, or the Turbulence, I'm sorry, and you'll see that I am on the Reinforce, quote unquote. I just want to show that's an option that you do have. You do have to consider that the Contain and Extinguish aren't hard once per turn, and you can play those too at higher copies, but we're going to activate the Alert and get ourselves the Fire Engine. We're then going to use the effect of the Preventer to special summon itself out, use the Fire Engine in order to special summon itself out, then go into our Sunlight Wolf, use the effect of Preventer getting back the Airlifter, then we can go into our Link Karibo, use the Sunlight Wolf to get back the Hydrant. Now we can go into our Appaloosa, as we'll be able to use the reinforcement of the army to get ourselves a follow-up with the Airlifter, and now we can set the Contain, as we'll be able to pass to our opponent on that. With all of the combos out of the way, we can finally get onto the deck profile, and the first elephant I would like to get out of the room, the Field Spell, the Reinforce, the Fire Engine, and the Fire Attacker are all flex spots. You don't necessarily need to play them, though I do happen to like the Fire Engine and the Fire Attacker, just because of the ability to not only draw with the Fire Attacker, but this is just another way to special summon out Hydrant from hand so that you can make your traps better. Then I also would recommend probably playing a second Extinguish over the Reinforce. Again, this is just an option. The 3 Alert and the 1 Rescue is standard in my opinion. We have the 2 Small World. You can play 3 if you happen to cut any of these flex spots that you can cut. The Field Spell is also just nice for your Hydrant plus the Airlifter combos, but it's another thing that you truly don't have to play. You'll notice that even though we are on the Heat Soul, we also do play the Prosperities, and because our starters are kind of far and few in between in regards to the Hydrant needing something like the Emergency, the Airlifter being your one true 1-card combo, makes me believe that Prosperity is just a good card to help the consistency of seeing that combo. And at the same time, usually you're playing with 5 cards in your hand, maybe basics, and instead of going for the Heat Soul, you can always make the Appaloosa, or you can just make something like IP, and if you don't want to play the proxy with the Mud Dragon, you can just happen to sneak something in like Avramax and maybe Underworld Goddess. Also see that we have the Armory Arm, and I just feel that when you're going into synchro plays with this deck, you don't necessarily need the Omni Negate. You can play the Herald if you would like to, but just beefing up your monsters may be a little bit better. Then we also have the Geomathmech Final Sigma, which I would like to talk about. The Turbulence and your Ash can end up making a Towers-like monster. The same thing with your Preventer and your Ash for the Psychic and Punisher, and just having the access to things that can win you the game like that are important. Also see the Horse Prince. This is another option that you have. As you see, I've actually cut the Impulse. This is something that you can play. Again, this is something else that you should just consider an option next to the Armory Arm. Outside of that, I think everything else is pretty standard. The last thing I would like to explain is why no Impulse. And while Impulse is a solid going second card, that does potentially tutor out your Hydrant. I just think having the ability to have more impactful going second card is more important because you want to be able to stop your opponent. As you'll see, I fixed up the deck a little bit to change the Horse Prince with the Avramax because while I was thinking about it, I feel like playing the IP to go into Avramax when you don't want to make the Heat Soul or the Apo is just another option to give you an annoying monster for your opponent to deal with. So I'm just going to get onto the card by card, and we have the 2 Turbulence, the 1 Preventer, the 1 Fire Engine. Again, if you want to play more copies of this, you can, and you can do so by either cutting the Fire Attacker or the Reinforce. Truthfully, the only ones meant to be here is the Fire Engine and maybe the Fire Attacker. The Reinforce you really do not need at all. Same with the Field Spell. Then we have our 3 Airlifter, our 3 Ash Blossoms, the 2 Kurikaras, and the 1 Dogeron because we play the Small World, the 3 Prosperities, 1 Fire Attacker, the 3 Hydrant, Reinforce, Extinguish, Contain, Headquarters, Rhoda, Small Worlds, the 3 Drolls, the 2 Talents, and the 1 Thrust, Emergency, Rescue, and the 3 Alerts to round out the main deck. Onto the extra deck, we have Avramax, Appaloosa, Access Code, Nightmare Unicorn, Heat Soul, Hida, Proxy F Magician, Sunlight Wolf, IP Masquerena, Linkuriboh, Final Sigma, Psychic and Punisher, Black Rose, Armory Arm, and Mud Dragon to round out the deck profile. So for everyone who's made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching and for the 500 plus subs. I truly appreciate your support, and now that we've monetized the channel, giving us access to supers and memberships means that more awesome stuff is on the horizon. To get the channel membership, just click on the description below, and there will be a link that takes you there. You'll also notice a free Discord link that I made for us too. If you want to support me as a content creator, even if you can't donate supers or get a membership for the channel, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons help a lot too. For those wondering, I do plan on making those updates to the channel as the support on the channel grows. But anyways, I hope to see you on the next one. It's Bones, signing